Hello and welcome to the Ilkhanate I.O. This is a Tinto Flavor Friday where we're going to have a look at one of the elements, doodads in Project Caesar, the game that we're all pretty sure is EU5. And yeah, let us get into it and have a look at what we're going to be seeing with this region. Before I do though, throw me a subscribe. It's free, and I like it, and you get to stay updated with all things coming out of Paradox Tinto about this game that we're all so exceptionally hyped about. Alright, let's get into it. The flavour of the Ilkhanate, and Persia, and Chagatai, and the rise of Timur. Hello and welcome to one more week of Tinto Flavor, the Happy Fridays in which we talk about, we take a look at the flavor content of the super secret Project Caesar. Today will be an interesting day since we'll be taking a look at the content they have for Persia and the Iranian region, including the Ilkhanate I.O. and also the content related to the rise of Timur situation, which includes the flavor for the Chagatai Khanate. So, starting a little bit differently today by looking at the Ilkhanan, the in-game flavor name of the most commonly used Ilkhanate I.O. So, as usual, all art is work in progress. So, Ilkhanan. With these accents, I have no idea how that is supposed to be pronounced, but it will work for now. There are 93 members of the Ilkhanan, and it also gives plus 100 great power score to the leader. If you are a member, you can't become an empire. You cannot add new members. I guess that is for the emperor itself. The Ilkhanan or Ilkhanate are the lands conquered by the great Khagan Borjigin Temujin Chingis, and later governed by his son Borjigin Hulegu. The Hulagids are still on the map, so they are clearly the direct successors. As such, it's also known as Hulegu Ulus. Alright. Click to select the international organization. I'm not sure I like words being pushed onto other line, like put organization on a new line. That's a UI thing. That's a critique right there. And it is apparently a control group that you can add as well. So all IOs have quick access buttons, a feature that they'll call control groups, with their own icon, which in the case of unique IOs is unique, as you may see. So this is their icon right here. This is the overview tooltip of the Ilkhanate. So this is when you hover over what looks like a button just on the map somewhere, or maybe it's just on your UI somewhere, which is interesting. So Ilkhanan, there's a power vacuum in the Ilkhanan. It's without a leader, nothing's going to get done for the foreseeable future until the situation is resolved. So there are 3 claimants. I don't know who these are. I assume Jalairids, I think, is this one. I'm pretty sure this one might be the Hulagids, and I don't know about this one. But you know what? I might be completely wrong, and they're going to say. So, so this is the IO panel. You can see the members and possible actions. Fair enough. And this is the map. Yes. Gurgan, Hulaguids, and the Jalairids. I'm not sure which flag is for which, though. Fair enough. The reign and death of Abu Sa'id Bahudur Khan, the last Ilkhan of the Borjigin dynasty, led to a power vacuum in the Ilkhanate, with several countries trying to claim the title of Ilkhan for themselves, while also trying to restore the old order over the lands ruled by the Ilkhans, and portraying the convoluted political situation through different mechanics. In order to be able to restore the Ilkhanate in its full glory, you need to be one of the claimants to the Ilkhanan, a special status, feature available to all IOs, more about the next week, in the HRE Tinto talk. Okay, how does one become a claimant, is my question as well. Can I start as, like, the Injuids and become a claimant? I hope that is possible. Members with a special status in the international organization enjoy certain privileges or have certain duties to fulfill. In some cases, the leader of the organization has special status to emphasize their unique position. Other organizations have electors instead, which are represented with a special status. So, good example of the lovely nested tooltips. Yellow text are horrible features, while the blue text are game concepts. We took the screenshots in the same sequence, but you could go even deeper and hover over the international organization game concept for a further explanation. Fair enough. Okay, there we go. There is a way to become a claimant to the Ilkhanan through the IO action Claim the Ilkhanan. As descendants of the legacy of Khagan Borjigin Temujin Chingis, we must claim the leadership of the Ilkhanan for ourselves. So you lose legitimacy when you do that. And then you get... So he's playing as the Musaffarids here. So you need to not be forced to renounce the claim. You have to not already have it. And then you need to either be a dynastic descendant of Borjigin, or any character in the country is a dynastic descendant of Borjigin. Okay, so I don't think it'd be too difficult to do that. I mean, I imagine that inviting characters to your country is going to be possible, though we haven't actually heard anything about that. But I imagine it's going to be possible to get a Borjigin into your country at some level. Plus, it's any character in the country, so they don't even need to be high up in the Borjigin dynasty or high up in your country either. So, by being claimant to the Ilkhanate, you'll get access to the special CB, which can be used against other members of the Ilkhanate, making it easier and more straightforward to conquer them. So, cost for the attacker minus 25%, max antagonism is normal, conquer cost for the defender is also less as well. Very cool. All members of the Ilkhanate have access to this other CB, that in the case of victory allows them to remove the claimant to the Ilkhanate. Okay. So if you attack as a claimant, then your enemy can say, no, you must not be the claimant. I wonder if it is a timed thing, right? Because you can't immediately become the claimant again, right? Forced to renounce Ilkhanate claim. Is this a timed thing? So if you are forced to renounce, is that like a 20-year cooldown and then I can reclaim? Is that a thing? That would be cool, maybe? I don't know. If you end up being the only claimant to the Ilkhanate, you'll automatically become its leader, and this is something that they want to change, so it becomes an action in the main actions panel to make it more clear for the player. By becoming the leader of the Ilkhanate, you can unify the IO into a proper country once again. So I imagine your strategy, to just strategize for a moment. Jalairids seem like the strongest one to do that with, because they are bordering the Hulagids and Gurgan. But declaring war on them and forcing them to renounce claimant, declaring war on these guys, forcing them to renounce claimant, and then you are now the de facto leader? Or you will be able to become the leader via the action. Kind of cool, and then maybe you can, form the Ilkhanate. You need to have a total of equal to 0 with a status icon. Okay, I don't understand this much. You need to be the leader, though. That makes sense. There's a broken tool to be. That's why I don't understand it. That's my excuse. That's my excuse. It's already been reported as bug. The second condition, that there aren't any countries with a status claimant to the Ilkhanate. You also need to control 75% of the locations owned by all the members of the Ilkhanate IO in order to form the country, and the IO will disappear the moment you form it too. Okay, so it's still, I don't know, you still have to conquer like 75% of it before you can form it. If there is a way to integrate via the IO various tags, that might be something I would like. On a different track, if you're a Persian member of the Ilkhanate, you also have the opportunity to fight your way towards unifying the region in a completely different way with this CB, the Shed the Shackles of the Ilkhanate CB. The foreign Mongol rule of the Ilkhanate must disappear. We shall unify Persia under our banner. And the Ilkhanate may cease to exist if all of its members are conquered by a country not a member of the IO, or there isn't a leader or claimants of the Ilkhanate. The main contenders of the Ilkhanate at the start of the game, we have the Jalairids with the flag. I think I called that one correctly. The Hulagids I did not call correctly. But yeah, the Jalairids start with 72 mil on their ruler, Khan Jalayir Hassan Buzurg. The Hulagids have Khan Borjigin Musa. We have the Gurgan Khan Borjigin Toga Timur. Very cool indeed. The Persian Iranian countries that are part of the Ilkhanate also have their own flavor content available. So we have the lands of Persia have always been situated in a privileged position, serving as a point of contact between the West and the East, and on the path of many trade routes. These lands have also thus served as a hub for exchange of ideas, cultures, and faiths, with Zoroastrianism, Islam, Christianity, and even Buddhism permeating along its population. The Iranian peoples are thus world people, and Persia has also been the birthplace of many great empires in the past, from the Achaemenids to the Sassanians. The recent Mongolian invasion and the establishment of the Ilkhanate have imposed on them foreign rule, but the Iranian peoples are ready to rise once again. And there are also some unique advances here. We have Sassanian heritage, giving plus 33% cultural tradition. That seems like a pretty big number. So, yeah, I don't know. We don't really know exactly how impactful cultural tradition is going to be, but, you know, increasing by 33% seems like a pretty nice amount of modifier. Before the Islamic conquest of Persia, the region was once home to the Sasanian Empire, a realm which once ruled from Caucasia in the west to the Cathar Range in the east. Many of its great cultural accomplishments have shaped the Persian artistic work and cultural identity. We also have improved the Silk Road, giving minus 10% trade maintenance. I do think that one's going to be a pretty powerful modifier. A system of upgrades to roads and bridges, a system of guards to protect the roads for small tanks, and a chain of caravanserai to provide rest stops. All help the merchants as they traverse the Silk Road and also provide increased revenues for the state. There are 21 different advances for Persian countries. Cool. There are also special buildings like the Safawiya Order Hall and the Gilman Barracks, and special units like the Kilibash Skirmisher and the Gilman. I'm pretty sure Gilman was in EU4. I recall that word, though I'm not sure what form they took. And they're formable for Persia. You need 50% of the locations in the Persia region. It's a tier 4 formable, so if you form Persia, the only country you can form after that is Europe. Unless you can form on the same tier. I actually don't remember that. Either way, the lands of Persia have always been the seat of powerful empires since the times of Cyrus the Great. It's time for us to reclaim that rightful glory and the title Shah of Iran, as several of the neighboring regions have been conquered and the possibility of a resurrected Iranian nation doesn't seem so absent anymore. And this is the Persian Empire in all its beautiful glory. I wonder if it would be purple if it was a Zoroastrian Persian Empire. Either way, let's take a look at the main contenders in Central Asia, the Chagatai Horde. And this is one of the countries that you need to play as in order to play as Timur of Timurid fame. The great Genghis Khan managed to forge a great empire for all Mongolian peoples, bringing into his fold great swathes of land from Europe to China. All people learned to fear the sound of Mongolian armies galloping and the might and power of the great Khan. As heirs to his legacy, the dream of bringing back the glory of the great Mongolian horde is still alive. So here we have the leader of the Chagatai Horde, Borjigin Changshi. Not the greatest ruler in the world. 30 admin, 30 dip, and 50 mil, but you know, maybe he can do great things. Mongolian countries, which also include countries involved in the Ilkhanate IO, such as the Jalairids and the Hulagids, have a ton of content available, both for being steppe hordes and also specific Mongolian content. They aren't going to reveal today most of it, since this is already a meaty Tinto flavor, and they still have to take a look in the future to the Golden Horde, which has unique content, but this is an overview of it. So they have steppe horde government type, which allows them to do all of these things: Horse Lords of the Steppes, Beyond the Sun, Steppe Slave Raiding, Caravanserai, Borjigin Blood, etc., etc. All of these things. Obviously, we're not getting information on what all of these things are, because holy balls, there's a lot of them. But I don't know. Is this the best way to... I mean, this is a tooltip that you will see on the main menu screen, right? When you're choosing a country, like in EU4, when you select a country before you hit play, you can see a basic overview of the information about that country. I think this is what you get there as well, so especially with it being nested tooltips, being able to be open, you know, the government type. Okay, this is what the government type is, steppe horde, and then you can hover over tribal religious values to see what it is that does. And I think that's going to be really good for choosing countries to play. It feels like a list of stuff, and I mean, maybe that is the best way of showing it, but it does still feel like a list of stuff. So some of the most relevant features for the early game: you have a group of conquistadors. A major reform: you can only have one major reform at a time. You can auto-conquer religious enemies. What do you mean auto-conquer? What do you mean auto-conquer religious enemies? What? We're not a country, or more of a small army of conquistadors here to make ourselves rich and extend the glory of our homeland. What? But group of conquistadors, that feels like something that it should be for Iberian nations? Is that supposed to be in this dev diary? What? I don't understand. And also, what the hell is auto-conquer religious enemies? What is that? Interesting. We also have the legacy of Genghis Khan. Monthly progress to aristocracy, cav maintenance minus 10%, and expected cost of court minus 2%. We're descendants of the great conqueror of the world, Genghis Khan. His blood runs through our veins, making us a proud and powerful people, and promising us that everywhere our horses take us, shall be ours to conquer. Fair enough. We also have Horse Lords of the Steppes is an advance in the Age of Traditions. Cavalry reinforce and maintenance costs minus 33% each. It lets you have levies. It allows you to have horse archers. It allows you to have the Urugs regular regiments. I think we've actually seen these before, right? Let me have a look. So I can't find it, but I feel like I remember this being shown, like this unit panel like this for the Urugs. I can't find it, but I'm pretty sure that's true. The only true beast is of human nature. Horses have been born and raised among our children, and they've been learned to be as noble and as ferocious as our own people. We recognize their harsh taming as our greatest pride, and they recognize us as their greatest lords. And then, yeah, we read that one already. Alright, so we have horse archers here, requiring leather, horses, and weaponry, both in construction and maintenance. They cost 2 manpower a month, max strength of 100, so this is very early. Combat power 4, morale damage 20%. That seems like higher than baseline. Movement speed is pretty high, combat speed pretty high, initiative seems super high, but again, these guys are horse archers, so that just makes sense, right? They have combat performance negatives in mountains, wetlands, and jungles, but they're better in sparse and grasslands, which makes sense. Riders from... Oh, there's our Urgs. Okay. Riders from the steppes have specialized in 2 ways of mounted combat, lances or archery. For the latter, the development of stronger but smaller bows have given them the mobility of the horses and the accuracy and fast volley that short bows provide, making them ideal for hit-and-run tactics. And the Urugs are a auxiliary unit. They carry your food. How much food? Food storage of 1 versus the 0.2 of the horse archers. So, fair enough on that one. They're also faster than normal. I think movement speed 3.5 is faster than normal. That is something I can check, though. Devdar 23, logistics and sieges. The regular camp followers one has a a movement speed of where? 2.5. So, yeah, they move faster, although they have less food storage than the regular auxiliary unit. Okay. Let's take a look at the content for the situation Rise of Timur. It can happen to you if you start the game with Chagatai or any of its subjects. But if you start the game with Barlas, one of these subjects, you'll find this lovely baby in your court, Timur Borjigin. I think that's the first time we've seen an image of a baby. Right? I think that is the first baby that we've seen in the game. He is a Khwarezmian Sunni, 1 year old at the start of the game. He is our infant, naturally. He is also a child prodigy. Ability increased during education +1. Future of this child is bright, and they're predestined to leave their name into the history books. Very cool. Not sure what this one is, though. Like maybe some scholar or something like that. Okay. There are some events about the childhood and adolescence of Timur, and if he gets to his adult age, this event will trigger the Rise of Timur. Fueled by the ambition to surpass the fallen caliphate and to restore the great Mongol horde, Timur Lang Borjigin, with a handful of loyal soldiers, has laid the foundation of the Timurid horde. Although seemingly insignificant for the moment, the Khan intends to use his unparalleled understanding of warfare and his elite troops to grow the horde with ruthless efficiency. Very cool. The event can fire initially not only for Barlas, but for Chagatai and any of its subjects, firing a then follow-up information event for all the rest, in which the player will get the chance to choose to change into the Timurid's country if they were not initially playing the chosen country, and the Timurids is AI. This gives a bit of variation on the starting situation of Timur, while also ensuring that the player can always follow the Timurid path if they're playing in the area. Very cool. I like that. I will be doing that for sure. Timur has several traits, but the most important is the Scourge from Central Asia. So you get maximum war exhaustion -5, army levy size +50%, that seems huge. Can always be military leader, yes. Aggressiveness modifier +1. I imagine that is just for the AI. The ruler is blessed with a refined and learned mind, which has proven its capabilities on the battlefield many times. Their actions will color the soil of their enemies red, while their empire rises to become one of the greatest menaces in Central Asia, the Middle East, and India. While the modifier is active, locations in a designated core region gain the core region bonus. So the core region... I have no idea how big that is, but The chosen country will be the red of the Timurid horde, as we all know and love it from EU4. The situation itself will appear. The rise of Timur. We have Khan Timur at 24 years old. He didn't, because the prodigy didn't help him much when you use console commands, right? So expected army size of 4.297. Whatever the balls that means. It started in 1360. Kills in battles of 0. So the end requirements, we've got, I don't know. This is what happens when you use console to get images for the dev diary instead of playing through it, right? But you've got options to plan the invasion and selecting core regions, whatever that means. That's cool. I also love this art. I want to see this art in bigly. I want to see this art bigly. That should have been at the top of the dev diary, in my opinion, because it's gorgeous. I love what I'm seeing here. Holy balls. Anyway, the counters for enemy kills and cities raised are there just for flavor. They don't have any mechanical purpose. But you know what? I love them anyway. I want that for every war. Because, yeah, I think it's really cool. I really think it's cool. Anyway. So, the end requirements make the situation likely to last for the entire life of Timur. So, Timurids either has a ruler with less than 150 points in his abilities, or has neither a ruler nor an heir. Timurids needs to be annexed or subjugated, or Timurids has restored Mongolia, which is a tier 4 formable. You need to not be in a civil war, and you need to own Sarai, Kiev, so going all the way into Ukraine, Beijing, Nanjing, Karakorum, all these different places. The empire of Kagan, Borjigin, Temujin, Chinggis has fallen, broken into many parts. We must restore his legacy by replicating the Great Khan's conquests. We will reconquer the Mongol Empire. This seems like a very difficult formable. Going from Kiev to Beijing is quite a distance. So anyway, going back to this Timurid Rise of Timur situation. The first action, plan invasion. Select a country to plan an invasion on. You gain Khan Timur's Conquest CB on them, and you gain 5 antagonism towards antagonism? No, antagonism. Antagonism is being a big fan of the Antagonids of Hellenic glory. Anyway, but yeah, gaining antagonism towards us centered on a location, and then you get to choose a country with which you want to attack. So the conquest CP gives you minus 75% conquer cost, but also gives that to the person you're attacking if they are weak. And is this the expected army size? Is that what this is here? Right? Is that the same icon that we saw? If I scroll all the way up to find it, I apologize. Expected army size. Where was that? Where was that? That was here somewhere. No, I was remembering it from a different Tinto talk. Expected army size is the star with arrows, so that is not the one. Don't know what the hell this is. But, okay, cool. Either way. Yeah, if you I feel like I recognize the symbol, but if you do, then let me know in the comment section below. That would be very helpful. It could be diplomatic range, because that looks like it is the filter that has been set and then sorting by diplomatic range, maybe? Either way, the Khan Timur's conquest. In the name of the great conqueror, their land shall belong to us. And if you're able to fully unify a region, the second action select core region will appear. The target region will be designated as our core region. Every location in that region becomes our core and gains core region as long as a scourge from Central Asia is active. Additionally, locations conquered in this region will automatically become a core if they're not a core already. That is wild. That is huge, actually. Because core is being a lot more difficult to acquire in E5 seems like... Yeah, this seems really powerful. So selecting Khorasan, for example, here, will be designated a core region. The cost of that is there as well. 155 gold. After selecting a core region, a third action will unlock Reform into Monarchy. Reform into a proper monarchy and proclaim a future of might. So you become a settled country. You gain Timurid Empire government reforms. Your country becomes an empire. In which case, being selected makes you a settled country with a monarchy government type and the rank of empire might potentially be the result. Huge. Absolutely huge. I hope reforming into monarchy locks the plan invasion and locks the making core region, right? It should be okay, I finished my conquest, now I'm a monarchy. If you just make a monarchy and then keep going, that's a bit wild. There are more content and events triggering during the situation, but these are its core features. From here, there's also more flavor content for the Timurids related to the historical events and situation that happened to the Empire. Probably the most important event for them is integration with the Iranian people. The lands that Khan Timur Lang Borjigin once conquered were vast and rich. He was more than a conqueror and less of an administrator, though. Now, much of our power base lies within the Iranian people. It is time for perhaps a change in rulership. Khan Timur Lang Borjigin has been planning on restructuring the empire into a more bureaucratic state, assigning his descendants as governors, hoping to grant them experience to rule. In addition, this would require us to merge with Iranian administration, something that may upset our Khwarezmian elite. So the historical option is we aim to rule, not conquer. At the peak of the Timurid Empire, much of Iran was under their rule. Despite that, the Timurid law was more akin to that of the Mongol states rather than the Sharia? Maybe, I don't know. Of previous rulers in the region. While Shah Rukh became the ruler of the empire, he changed the administration drastically, being closer to that of other Muslim states. This included empowering the Sharia courts over the Mongol tribunals. Shah Rukh is who you start the game as if you play in 1444 Timurids in EU4. So, cool to have a little shout out to that guy. He dies pretty soon, though, if I remember rightly. So, you embrace Dewar as the primary culture if you aim to rule. Unlock the Timur Diwan government reform. Our Umara lose some estate satisfaction. The major reform, Timur Diwan, gives monthly progress to decentralization. The culture capacity goes up by 20%. You get an extra government reform. Admin efficiency goes up by 10%, and you can assign governorship. Instead of ruling the nation through other ways, we should legalize the Sharia as the official law. This Timur Diwan will allow us to properly rule any non-believers, as well as make it easier to grant governorships to any relative. The governorship is a unique mechanic of the Timurids that allows them to have a unique type of subjects from members of the ruling dynasty. This may have its cons, as there might be several claimants to the Timurid throne. And there is much more, but that is all for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Next week will be intense, since on Monday they'll have Tinto Maps feedback for the Horn of Africa, Wednesday a Tinto Talks for the Holy Roman Empire, and on Friday there will be a Tinto Flavor for Saxony. Looking forward to all of that. What are my thoughts on this dev diary? Well, I want to play as the Timurids. That's just straight up gonna happen. I would like to play as Timur. I don't know whether I would start as Chagatai or start as one of Chagatai's vassals, like where here, if you start with Barlas, for example. Can you see Barlas on here? Yeah, there they are, just in the top corner. I don't know which one I would start with, but either way, I think it's a hugely interesting situation, hugely interesting character of history, and yeah, I'm looking forward to trying him out. Also, I love this art. It's fantastic. I want this big. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I will see you on Sunday for the Tinto Talk responses from this dev diary, from Wednesday's dev diary, and also the previous Wednesday's dev diary that I missed because I was a little bit in Spain. So looking forward to that. So I will see you guys on Sunday. But until then, thanks all for watching, and have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.